Good morning. For today's video we have a baby in one hand, such as mom life, lover, and we've got another foundation we're doing. I normally don't do my foundation reviews too close together. They're usually a little bit more spread out. However, I did decide to pick up the Milani Glow Hydrating Skin Tint. It is it's like a sheer to light coverage foundation. The only thing is the shade range. There are only 4 shades, which could be a little bit difficult, but because of the fact that it is a sheer to light coverage foundation, they could probably get away with it. I mean, I'm going to try it out. I haven't even tested it out yet. I only swatched it on my hand, and it definitely seems very sheer coverage. So because it is so sheer of a coverage, the foundations typically don't need a large shade range because the shades cover more of a variety of skin tones. So given that, I mean, I can see why Milani would choose to only include 4 shade ranges for a variety of skin tones. However, I'm a little bit nervous that it won't cover every skin tone. I mean, you know, because there's such a range of skin tones that, you know, no foundation ever truly matches your skin. You just kind of got to go with what's best and work the makeup around that. I did pick up mine in the shade Fair to Light, so we're gonna go ahead and just test this out and see what we do. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification button below. Alright, baby's down. She's with her dad right now, so I get to film the rest of this, hopefully without too much chaos. But you know what? I love my kids. It's okay that they're here. It's part of mom life, you know. I wouldn't have it any other way, though sometimes it makes my videos a little bit more chaotic than they probably need to be. That's just my life, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But anyway, so we're just gonna go ahead and go in with my Milk Makeup Blur Primer, my trusty primer that I use with every foundation. And again, this is gonna be what I would wear on a normal day. I wouldn't necessarily, I'm not going to try and do a 12-hour wear test when I only typically wear a foundation for about 8 hours. What I'm looking for is just something that'll last me through the day. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, we're just gonna put this all over the place, and from there, normally I'd spray my face before I go in with the foundation tester, but because this is a very watery formula, I think I'm just going to go ahead and go in with just the Beauty Blender and just see what that does. So, here's the applicator. It's just a squeezy tube. I'm going to put that on. That's probably a little bit much, but again, it's supposed to be sheer to light, so let's see what that does. Alright, so got my mirror here. So so far, I mean, I'm blending it out. It does look a little bit cool tone, but yeah, definitely more on the sheer coverage. Kind of have a feeling this is going to be one of those your skin but better kind of foundations. But yeah, the shade range, I mean, I can never tell the shade range until after I really let it sit for a minute. But yeah, so far it's blending in good. I'm using a combination of both my viewfinder and my mirror to help me see what I'm doing. But yeah, overall definitely more on the sheer coverage side. Not bad, which, I mean, personally, my foundation preferences, I do prefer my foundation a little bit more on the light coverage side. I mean, I even like sheer coverage if I'm just trying to get out the door. I will say right now that if you are looking for more medium to full coverage, this foundation is definitely not going to be for you. But I mean, for an everyday wear, I mean, it went on smoothly. It's definitely glowy, which for me, I personally like. I like a more hydrating look, hydrating finish to my skin, because my skin does run more dry. It's normal to dry, but yeah, I've been debating whether or not I want to go with more of a full coverage concealer just to cover my under eyes. I mean, as you can see, it's definitely not going to help with any under eye circles you have, or probably even discoloring. I don't have too much discoloring, just a little bit on my nose here, which actually that did cover up. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but definitely if you have some spots that you want covered up, I would even probably recommend spot concealing before going in with the foundation. I did not end up doing that. But overall, I mean, if you're really trying to cover up some marks, I probably would suggest staying away from the foundation. But here's the foundation compared to my neck. Overall, I say this does lean a little bit more on the cool tone side, but that's just kind of, I feel like the more fair you have your foundations, at least in my experience, the more cool tone they appear, the more pink tone they appear. But I mean, I could be wrong. That's just kind of from my personal experience. But overall, the shade range is not bad. I feel like once we, I don't know why I'm like putting this right here, it's so weird, but once we go in with like the rest of the face, it'll probably counteract that. So yeah, overall, definitely don't mind the shade range, or at least the shade match. Obviously, I'm not going to go any deeper than the Fair to Light because I very much teeter that line. But again, I don't know with people who are with the wider range of skin tones. Honestly, if you do have a wide range, like those of you with a different skin tone with me, let me know what you think below for those of you who have tried it. But you know what, I think I was going to go in with a lighter coverage concealer, but I think because my under eyes are so dark, I'm going to go in with my Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue concealer. I actually got this in BoxyCharm a couple months ago. So I'm just going to dab this on just my under eyes. I don't really think I need it anywhere else. Well, probably my chin, because this obviously didn't cover up the chin mark. But yeah, I'm just going to take a very small amount on my blender. I mean, I feel the need to use a damp blender, but I just want to kind of see how this lays on top of the skin. But yeah, well, so far not bad. I find that if the coverage of the concealer and the coverage of the foundation are a little bit too off, I find it difficult to kind of blend it in right. Usually, for the most part, it's probably better to go in with the fuller coverage product on the bottom and then blend it out with the higher coverage product. But I mean, in this is in the shade Fair 03. So overall, it's not bad. I mean, I'll just take whatever's left to kind of put it in my T-zone. Again, I'm not going to powder because I don't ever feel the need to like powder, especially when I am doing a wear test. I just kind of want to see how this wears without any powder. Definitely a glowy product. I feel like that concealer maybe mattified my T-zone a little bit. Overall, let me check the time real quick. So it is 9:37 at the time that this got put on. Well, probably about 9:30 at the time I started, just because I've been talking for the last 10 minutes. But we'll go ahead and call start time 9:30. I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of my face, and I will be right back. Alright, the rest of my makeup is on. Overall, the shade match, now that it had time to settle in, is actually pretty good. I feel like it's definitely matched more with my neck a little bit, especially with the rest of the makeup to kind of balance it out. So overall, I am happy. I was actually doing the rest of my makeup, and I was trying to figure out if I could compare this to the Becca Zero Pigment Foundation. However, it's not a zero pigment foundation. It's a sheer coverage, it's a sheer to light, so there's definitely, it's a skin tint. So it's not going to be as like skin-like as the Becca Zero foundation. However, if you do want an affordable alternative, this would work. However, what I did find, was that this actually compares, it could almost be a near exact dupe to the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder foundation. I was actually wearing this one, I believe it was yesterday, and it had like the same glowy kind of coverage, like my skin was just kind of glowy and radiant and all the things that, well, I would expect from a foundation such as Charlotte Tilbury. So, but when I got this is actually, I want to say it's pretty much an exact dupe. The only major difference besides the price point is that this is more of a definite light coverage foundation, whereas this is more of a sheer to light. But again, if I were to add like a second layer, it could easily be about as pigmented as a first layer of this one. So if you're wanting this one, I would recommend definitely getting this one as an affordable alternative. So I was actually pretty happy about that when I started noticing it. But overall, I mean, it's 10 o'clock right now, so I will go ahead and do a check-in midday. I'm going to maybe try probably around, what, 10, 11, 12, 1. So yeah, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, that's 4 hours. So I'm going to maybe try and do like a 2 o'clock and maybe a 6 o'clock check-in, but we'll see how the day goes. But anyway, overall, I'm definitely liking this. I do feel like my skin looks very fresh right now, and I can't wait to see how it stays throughout the day. So I will check in a little bit. Alright, so it is actually 2:30 right now, so this has been on for about 4.5 hours. Honestly, so far it seems to be looking pretty good. There's not any rub off on my chin or my nose, which actually makes me very impressed. I mean, typically by this time of the day there's a lot of rubbing off in those particular areas. I mean, granted, I did stay home today and I haven't done anything really worth, you know, being out and about, but my children's hands have been on my face today, so I mean that kind of counterbalances that, I guess. But overall, I mean, so far I am actually impressed. Yeah, I just trying to get my hair out of the way, but yeah, just, so I mean, there's a little bit on my nose that came off, but that's also some highlighter. But honestly, I'm actually super impressed. So I will go ahead and do a check-in in probably another 3 to 4 hours, just depending on my day. Alright, I have to admit, I am impressed. I do not see anywhere, not on my chin, not on my nose, not around here, not on my cheeks, not in any of the places that I would normally experience wear, especially by this time of day, regardless of whether or not I am staying home. So, I mean, this may need a little bit more of a, like, out and about kind of wear test, but, I mean, through eating today, through messing around with kids, I mean, this foundation has not budged. So, honestly, I'm impressed. I gotta admit, I think this is a win, and, I mean, it's a drugstore brand, so yeah, for a very affordable foundation, I'm impressed. So I think that's it. It's been about 6 hours, or not 6, about 8 hours at this point. It's almost 5:30. I've had it on since about 9:30, so I mean, that for me is pretty much a full day. Anyway, so with that, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. God bless, and here's a quick close-up before I head out, but God bless and bye, guys.